Yeah. Want me to start? Okay. Well, happy 100th episode of the RCAD.
Yeah!
We old.
Yeah. So, what a drag it is getting old. Matt's all different today. I hear Jack and Chris say Matt needs something today to calm him down. And though we don't think he'll last, he's on the Ramblecast. And he's got Helter Skelter, but he's got a little helper, and it helps him on his way, gets him through his busy day. Matt, so please, some more bees knees. Don't make some more. He drank for more. What a drag it is getting old. Happy birthday, RCAD and Matt.
I'm going to say right now that I'm not kidding. That's probably your best one ever.
Oh, I just keep talking myself.
Wasn't bad.
That would have been even perfect last week when my birthday.
Yeah,
you know,
well, I had to skip it, so you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Okay, all right. Thanks.
Yeah, that one popped on my radio on random, and I went, "Oh, that's a good one. I'll do that one." It was fitting. I felt, you know.
No, totally. It seems weird to say that this is our 100th episode because I feel like I've been.
It's not. Yeah.
I feel like we've been doing
Yeah.
it. Like, how many episodes have we really?
It's
done?
got like at least.
I would put it.
250.
Yeah, I would put it way over 200, really. But it's the 100th RCAD podcast.
Yeah, it's the 100th since we changed the name.
Should we invited Jay? But Jay wasn't part of
Who?
the RCA.
He's not part
No.
of the RCAD. You know.
His name's just on the billing.
He just shows up. Yeah.
Because I was on YouTube and one of our older episodes, Matt wasn't on. It was me, Nick, Chris, and Jay. And I was just listening for a while, and I go, but that must have been a married man or a ramble cat, whatever we were calling it. Because
we were the married man for a while, and that
Yeah.
was back in like the Tim days.
Yeah. Should we have had Tim back? No.
No,
I don't think he was on the RCAD either.
No,
He was on
no.
the
No, he's always on the married man. Yeah. Because he really only did he make it a year, or was it only like 6 months for Tim?
I don't know. Whatever happened, he unfollowed me on every social network thing.
yeah,
I don't know what I did to him. I wasn't the one that kept including
wish you
him
the
back.
best, Tim. If you're listening,
I wasn't the one that kept including him in the Facebook chat.
Right.
It wasn't me. I probably got blamed for it, but it wasn't me.
Oh, I think I added him back at least 3 or 4 times.
you
Yeah.
definitely got blamed for it.
Well,
must
thank you
have been
thank you for all the live listeners that are joining us and wishing us a happy
and
100th.
and the dead ones too.
Yeah, who's here today though? Usual suspects.
Can we just
Chris Doran, John the UPS guy, Kim Rodriguez, Will Fry. Thank you for hanging out.
Can we mute John the UPS guy?
You're just sore because of that Padres loss.
No, I actually wasn't. I mean,
okay.
going in, they messing their 2 best pitchers were not only their 2 best pitchers, but probably the 2 best pitchers in the top 10 of the top 10 pitchers in the National League. Lost them going into the playoffs and had. You guys are familiar with bullpen by committee games?
Oh yeah,
I hate those games. Well, the Padres had
What?
5 of them. They had 5 in 6 games. Bullpen by committee games. It was
yeah.
like,
But your dude there, your rookie sensation there is going to be something fierce with that squad.
Oh, he's amazing. 21.
What's his name?
Fernando Tatis.
Tatis.
Jr.
Yeah, dude's the real deal.
Oh, he's
He's going to
fantastic.
go far.
Glad you got that player. Just
Yeah.
saying.
Well, we got Manny.
Uh,
We have some good players. It just
Yeah.
it's good to see the Dodgers losing tonight.
it was
always
great to see the Yankees not win.
Boo. Nah,
He made it.
I be honest, I just said I just said, should we have invited Jay? And everyone said no.
The invite's there in our message group. I feel like he's the fifth Beatle.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely got the message.
Well, no, he didn't get the message because he's here.
I was working on something, and then my little thing said 100th episode RCAD. So let me click and see how the guys are doing tonight. And then I see that nobody wanted me on the show.
Well, it started with Matt. Matt said, no, I'm the producer.
Mhm.
I decide who's on, who's not on. And he's not going to come in here and try to take over because it's my job. And I
No.
said,
Jack
back up,
Jack
Matt.
is total misinformation.
Am I, guys?
I've been busy interning at the White
Jack
House.
is his own super spreader event over there.
Nobody wants Baby Spice.
Did you guys see that somebody bought a fucking billboard next to the airport hangar in which Trump was holding his rally?
No.
And it said Trump COVID super spreader event with an arrow pointing off the fucking off ramp. Like savage level 100. It was fantastic.
These are funny, but it's funny, but it's sad because every time someone gets it, it just makes it worse for everybody.
Yeah.
Because we can celebrate that person getting it, but it just means more and more people are getting it. So I'm old, and so is Matt. We got to worry.
Randy's saying Pete Best. Because the other Beatles were jealous of Pete Best, and then that's why they kicked him out of the group. So
he was the best looking and the only Beatle that I've ever seen in concert.
I remember when the anthology came out.
Weird.
I remember when the anthology series came out in '95. Like there was like one of the biggest articles I read. It was longest payday in history. Because Pete Best never really got paid anything for the Beatles stuff.
Yeah.
But the first disc of the first anthology has a lot of his stuff. He's actually drumming on it, so he actually got paid. I think like $4 million.
Oh, really?
Based on the sales of just the anthology number one. And so,
stop bitching, Pete.
Well, no, he's not. But I'm saying, think about how many years went by before he got any kind of money for.
Yeah. I heard he got kicked out of the Beatles because he smelled bad. They called him Stinky Pete.
I heard that he was better looking. So
yeah, he said that.
That was stupid.
and he had this amazing toy collection.
I don't think that was a thing in the '60s, but I'll take it.
We had
all those lead toys.
Anyways, I can't stay the whole night, but I did want to wish you guys a happy 100th of
thank
you. I love everyone but one of you. And
Matt can hear you.
I'll let you just do the one I don't like.
Hey, do you still want me to watch your two kids this week?
He legally has to love one of us, though.
Well, yeah. No, I love you all. And
Jay, it wouldn't be our 100th episode without a guest appearance, because I feel like there is always that 20th episode that all of a sudden Jay's here and half the squad is gone. So
like Jay's here, Edward Snowden's here. It's weird. It's just fucking weird. It's like a big conspiracy.
While you're here, Jay, because we lost a legend in rock and roll. We lost Eddie Van Halen.
Oh,
I mean,
did we find out how he died?
He had throat cancer that got to his brain.
I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah. I had no, because my wife comes in and I had two kids that day, or was it three? I can't remember. And she goes, Eddie Van Halen died. I go, what? Whoa, what?
Yeah.
I go, how? I thought maybe he got hit. I didn't know he was sick. And she goes, oh, he had cancer. I go, wow.
Speaking of that genre of music and maybe actually not genre, the era of music. What's really cool is that this week or this past week, oh, look at that fucking guitar, dude. That's awesome.
He showed it on Facebook.
Oh,
yeah. So this is an accurate replica of the Eddie Van Halen.
Dude, that is gorgeous.
Awesome. A neat story there is
keep talking about love. Do it.
No, actually,
keep talking about love.
I need to put a new neck on it. But anyway. He always only had the one pickup that he ripped out of a Les Paul. Actually, it was an ES335, and then just the one volume knob. That's it. When he painted this one red and the white and black, after it was just white and black, he put this pickup in it, which is a dummy pickup. It didn't do anything. And then he took an old switch and stuck it in there to make people think this was some kind of special thing that he invented.
No, just a guitar with a fucking useless part.
Exactly. So he had like these parts in here that didn't do anything except to try and throw people off with how he got his classic.
Eddie, dude, I grew up listening to Ed Van Halen. He's one of my favorite guitarists of all time. And he'll be sorely missed.
I actually got to meet him, shook his hand.
Did you really?
What?
Yeah.
Well, he denied that he actually was Eddie Van Halen. So
Yeah, he's a guy.
Jack just claims he saw him.
Well, I met him and his wife, Valerie Bertinelli, because I said, well, that's your wife, Valerie Bertinelli. And she just kind of started laughing because it was Valerie Bertinelli. And I shook his hand. Come on, Ed. Let's just shake hands.
So
then to continue the story, you went and played one of his songs over
there.
there.
I went. It was at a rink in Palm Desert, because we had a lot of famous people there. And so I said, I went up and got my tapes, and I put Van Halen on. He just started laughing. That was funny. I said, I'm not going to tell anybody it's you.
Wait, I'm having deja vu. Did we talk about this already?
We did, yeah.
I'm not going to tell.
Did you fucking kill Eddie Van Halen?
There's been more than 100 episodes of this show. Yeah. Of course, we've heard this.
Yeah.
Jesus,
how do you not have all Jack's stories memorized?
I don't know.
Don't be jealous that I met Eddie Van Halen.
So, anyways, so the good thing about this, though, not the good thing, but the silver line to all this is that the two most searched for bands on iTunes this week were Van Halen and Fleetwood Mac.
Yes.
Why Fleetwood Mac?
Why Fleetwood Mac, do you ask, Nick?
Where have you been?
Yeah.
Have you seen the memes of that dude who was longboarding and
Mick Fleetwood? Yeah.
No, Mick Fleetwood. That was
it's just some guy on a skateboard with cranberry juice, right?
This Native American dude was just chilling on his longboard. Like, he looks like straight thug. He's got like head tattoos and stuff, and you wouldn't be expecting this guy. Well,
yeah, that was a total profile.
Dude, his name is Dogface420, and he's got a fucking tattoo on the side of his head. He gives off the appearance of a thug, and that's the charm of this video. He's going down his longboard, chugging cranberry juice, lip syncing to "Dreams" by Fleetwood Mac.
Incredible.
And what's crazy though is that Mick Fleetwood sent his response in, also on presumably a longboard. But then Stevie Nicks wrote this post, how she was saying how she was all depressed because she hasn't been able to be out and creating music with everybody, and because of COVID. And she was, quote unquote, so inspired by this Dogface420 that she went and fucking wrote a song. And like literally 2 days later, she released a single. That you can, I don't know if it's on iTunes. It was on
Dogface 420 afternoon.
Yeah, but it's just interesting to see of how many people out there, especially young folks, who have never listened to Fleetwood Mac, that are now becoming obsessed. I'm all for it. Fleetwood Mac's good for the soul.
Well, he got, I guess, a huge supply of cranberry juice
and a fucking truck.
Yeah.
Ocean spray bottom of truck.
Yeah.
Well, it was free advertisement.
Is he going to be a commercial of those two guys in the cranberries that are waiting in the cranberries? That'd be cool, right?
Oh, maybe.
Here, the two cranberry guys and the thug.
So it's probably a boost after the Departed basically killed the cranberry industry. So this is kind of like a boost for it now.
Cranberry industry is still alive and well in Massachusetts.
Yeah. Huh?
If you have a bladder infection, it's the best thing for it.
That's what I'm saying.
They'll never let you talk. You just have to just push.
Plus in my screen share. Do you see it down there?
Yeah. Okay, sorry, didn't see that.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait.
Oh, we can't play long.
I'm gonna pause this just a little bit so we don't get banned.
You gotta have the part where he mouths it, though. You know.
It's great. It doesn't look like a thug. It looks like a
I'd only seen the Mick Fleetwood version, so I guess I didn't realize that he was doing it as an homage to this guy.
So I then started following him on Instagram, and his Instagram page is fucking legendary. Like, he does all genres of music, and he does the same thing. Sometimes he's dancing, sometimes he's rollerblading, sometimes he's drinking juice.
He's like a longboard or something.
Oh, right? So this wasn't a one-time thing.
No, this is just the one that caught on
God,
and
the one that went viral. Oh, I just thought it was some guy just going, "Hey, fuck
Dude,
it, I'm."
Barstool Sports had these fucking Marines in a helicopter, like flying through like the low trees of Sudan. I'm making geographic locations up at this point, but they're in a helicopter somewhere, and he's hanging out the helicopter full camo gear, just chugging ocean spray and lip syncing to Fleetwood Mac. It's cool. It's a really cool. This is one of those. There's 1,001 memes that are out there, but this one actually feels good. I don't know.
He's a pretty smooth skateboarder because
you can dance too.
Because I know at my age, I used to be a skateboarder, and now I just be like, I'm afraid to go down this driveway on a skateboard because I'm old.
Yeah, and then Mick Fleetwood, of course, has his response.
That's the one I saw.
And that's just awesome. Like, that's fucking cool, man.
Okay, he's in the back of a pickup truck, isn't he?
I don't know, man.
Have you seen
he's like 90, isn't he?
No, he's probably early 80s.
There's no way he's on a truck.
Hey Siri, how old is Mick Fleetwood?
Jay, can you pull up the pumpkin one? There's a pumpkin spice one.
73.
He can't be that young.
Yeah.
Damn.
He looks old as shit, though, doesn't he?
That rock and roll life, though.
So we all agree he's not on a skateboard?
Who, Mick Fleetwood?
Yeah, there's no way.
I don't disagree that he's on a skateboard.
No.
Here's
no reason to believe he's not.
Let's see if I can flip it around here to me. I don't know. I don't often do solo layouts, but here is the one of the pumpkin spice latte one.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
That's good.
And
Man.
it's even got the head tat.
That's good
and everything. So,
yeah. So Will Fry.
Seeing the pouring of the pumpkin spice on the face, it just gets me every time.
No, I want to see the one where it hits a rock. And the guy goes,
oh, that's good. That's funny. So Will Fry says in the chat, it says Fleetwood Mac is a band that took me into my 30s to like and appreciate. I'm the same way. Like I was not a Fleetwood Mac fan in college. I was, whatever, but I started to appreciate, the finer music. And Fleetwood Mac is solid from front to back. You can't go wrong with Fleetwood Mac.
It's interesting about that because of how many different lineups they went through.
Yeah.
Because, if you listen to the Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac, which is like their first 3 records, it's just a straight up blues band.
Yep.
And, a lot of people don't realize because, Santana gets the credit for a Black Magic Woman, but Fleetwood Mac wrote that song, like the first version of Fleetwood Mac, and then they get more into like a little bit like Led Zeppelin a little bit in the early 70s with another guitarist, it's more heavy. And then, they quit and then they found Stevie Nicks. They liked the voice and they wanted Stevie Nicks, and she was basically like, "No, we're a pair. You have to take both."
And then you take an abundant amount of cocaine, Viagra, and booze, and put them all in one room, and you get Rumors.
Right.
But
the White album, the first Fleetwood Mac with Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham is just as good as Rumors. I mean,
The first.
I fucking love Lindsey Buckingham, man. Like,
he's great on Saturday Night Live.
Lindsey's one of my favorite guitarists of all time, like a top 5 for me. And like I've been obsessed with Fleetwood Mac since I was a kid, or like learning how to play guitar. And I got to credit my my Nana for that one because she was a big Fleetwood Mac fan. And
it was always bad if she knew the words to the song.
But like Lindsey Buckingham is an unreal guitarist.
Savage.
And I was thankful enough he was touring with Kristen McVie at a smaller venue in Raleigh, and I got to see him pretty up close. And,
it's awesome.
He's
all fucked up now, though. I heard he's touring again, but he had like throat surgery.
Oh, he had a heart attack.
Oh, a heart attack? Did he have both throat surgery and a heart attack?
I'm not sure if it was the same time or what, but like so. Fleetwood Mac was getting back together like a year ago, and he had a heart attack. Well, they kicked him out of the band. Basically, Stevie, I think, I don't know what it was. It was ego on one or the other, but she basically gave Fleetwood Mac an ultimatum and said it's either going to be him on this tour or me on this tour. So they kicked Lindsey Buckingham out, and then he had a heart attack a few months later.
So should Lindsey Buckingham go down a hill drinking cranberry juice in a hospital bed?
Oh, don't say that.
I think it's funny.
How can we
take it back, dude? Like, you are a bad omen.
I didn't say he would be dead. I just said going down. Come on, if I'm Lindsey Buckingham and I had some problems with my health, that's the first thing I would do. Stevie.
No,
I would just go down you know.
I just
This is what I tell
I
people.
just wanted go ahead, Jay. No, Jay, you're never on here. Go ahead.
I just tell people, they say like, what would Jesus do or whatever. With Jack, it's just what would do the opposite of what Jack would do. And usually going to turn out all right.
It would be funny. I'm sorry, Lindsay, if you're listening.
Anyways,
Well, Jay, you know me.
Jay?
Was Eddie Van Halen?
Were you saying goodbye?
I
what
was.
you're doing?
That's okay. What
But
were
wait, was Eddie Van Halen a hard guy? Because I've listened to, David Lee Roth had a falling out with him. Sammy Hagar had a falling out with him. I was listening to Sammy Hagar, and I guess they did read,
I think it's
get
just
back
creative
together.
forces. When that's so every band. Like when you have
but
different ideas, you're going to argue. And there's always one person. It doesn't matter who it is in the band. There's always one person that's the driver. And you're going to butt heads with everything. Because it's like it's like Pink Floyd, the Beatles, anybody. Like there's always going to be somebody.
Do you agree? Do you agree with both David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar said Van Halen is the two groups are different with the two lead singers?
Oh yeah,
they are, because I think it is kind of on Eddie and Alex Van Halen, because they're very much like their own unit,
Right.
And every other part of that band has left the band or come back at some point in time. So I do think it doesn't necessarily mean they're difficult people, but they have a vision for what they want to do, and sometimes that conflicts with their lead singers.
And let's not forget that David Lee Roth is still certifiably fucking insane. Like the dude is nuts.
Yeah.
And it's got to be like bedlam to be in a studio with somebody like that. Like
Well, he can't sing anymore either. That's
no, you can't.
No, when I saw him in concert, it was he just was telling stories,
uh,
which people were booing, but I actually enjoyed the stories. Because there were stories about the band. Eddie Van Halen could still play. It was like, oh my god, this guy is. I know he's old. He's older
and
than me.
I'm also in the camp too. Like there's the Van Hagar and the Van Halen fans, and I fucking love both versions of the band.
Yeah,
Like, I
do
love that band.
I liked Sammy Hagar before he joined the band. So when he joined it, I said, well, this is just gravy for me.
but
I liked them both.
Yeah, to me, if we had to do a versus, for example, like what album is when you think of like what the '80s meant, I think 1984. To me, if I had to pick an album that represented the '80s, I would pick 1984. Even though some people say Thriller, some people say Appetite for Destruction. There's a lot of good albums, but I'm just saying. But overall, the feel of the '80s to me is 1984. It's all happy. It's very up. It's a good record.
I think it's definitely one of them. I think it's like Thriller and 84. It's funny how 84 is kind of the seminal year for pop culture for the 80s. When you have Beverly Hills Cop, Ghostbusters, Thriller.
Thriller came out in '82 though.
I was 82.
Padres made the World Series for the first time. So
something about 84 is, and I wasn't born yet, so maybe that's why.
Even better.
85, maybe.
I just wanted to point out, Will. Yes, I'm of the same exact generation as you. That was me. Actually, I think it was for our high school assembly. We had a "Don't Do Drugs," and it was basically all built around right
Eddie
now.
Van Halen, when he wrote that song and played that song, was real fucking high on drugs.
Was he? I thought he was.
To quote, what's his name? Fucking.
It's true,
what's the comedian's name? It says that.
Yeah. Randy brings up another good record, Born in the USA, also 1984.
Yeah, I think of that album actually.
I remember like back in the day when you had like, remember when we were in grade school and you had to like, you get those book wraps. I don't know if they still do that or not, but we didn't buy the book wraps. We'd go to the grocery store and get groceries and take the paper bag and then you'd wrap your books with it.
Your book cover.
We even did that in my day.
Some schools handed out the ones that had like the president's faces on it and shit, but no, we were too poor. We just took shopping bags.
That's actually one of my favorite lines from I think season 1 of Cobra Kai. Is like he gets his son's school supplies. He goes, "I try to find you a trapper keeper. Are those things still cool?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh my god!"
But I remember as a kid in elementary school where I would on those book covers I would draw like all these different variations of the Van Halen logo.
Yeah.
And I did have one of those books that had like I think George Washington or someone's face on it on the inside flap. And I was trying to like draw like a 3D version of the VH where it wraps around and shit. And it was
nice,
awesome. Like, but that was like that band was bigger than life back in the day, and like it was, and they were unbelievable. You know, it's sad to see Eddie Van Halen go, but I'm glad to know that all of his best stuff is in front of us, so we have it all.
Yeah,
I guess he made amends with a lot of people. So,
well, I mean, I only I heard Sammy Hagar, but I read David Lee Roth thing to him. He said, you know, like basically his was, you know, the best years of my life were with you, you know, and that's awesome, you know, to say. And then Hagar said it's kind of the same thing. It was like, you know, when we were getting along, you know, what we did was magical, you know, but it was
just on him. Eddie Van Halen was on the Thriller album.
Yeah, he was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, you know the best part about that too is that Eddie Van Halen took no money or royalties at all for the guitar riff for Michael Jackson's song.
Oh, really?
And that's arguably one of his best guitar riffs.
And
it's not his, by the way.
What'd you say?
No, he did something on the album, but I forgot what it was, and he took no royalties.
Solo is his, but
he took no royalties for it.
Yeah.
He only asked for a case of beer and dance lessons.
Well, he could have used some skating lessons.
Fucking legend.
Just saying.
And that was one take on that guitar solo in Beat It, by the way.
Wow.
I
love how, like, because if you really listen to Beat It with like a good set of headphones, you know, you hear the whole track, you can hear the production, and you can literally hear him just plug in like right at the second, and just you're just like, holy shit, like he just plugged it in, you know, like just did it.
It's literally what happened. He just made it up on the spot. That was his like first take. And yeah, I think it was the guitarist of Toto did the riff and everything to Beat It.
Oh, is that right?
Eddie. For the stuff.
We don't know the name of the guy from Toto.
He's actually a known guy. I usually remember his name, but I can't remember it now. Top of my
head. Who's the one that
and
did it?
he did the soundtrack. He did the soundtrack for a really great science fiction movie from the 80s as well. It's very overlooked. It's about to have a remake.
It's not the one with like all the weird worms and the one that looks like a new asshole that's like just right there in the sand.
And it came out in 1984.
It's been delayed to 2022.
5,
I don't care. Just give me some good Dune.
Eventually, it's going to be on WTBS or something like
that. There's this. I just want to say there's this moment in Dune, and I rewatched it like the other night, where he gets up on.
Hold on a second. I get crap for Brady Bunch.
Dune is Matt's Padres.
Yeah, for real.
Every episode,
he gets up on the sandworm.
No, Padres have been successful once in a while.
It's a pivotal moment, and for anybody that's watched the movie, there's this guitar riff that comes in as he's got control, and it's like wow, wow, you know, and it's like he's like like riding the sandworm. I love that.
Yeah,
I think that's the part where
the guitarist in Beyond Thunderdome. Awesome.
I think that's when I left the theater. Yeah, during that part, I said, "Okay, I'm taking it up."
You missed out. So anyway, So many thoughts going through my mind as far as like the last conversation. I just want to say that I got into Fleetwood Mac because as I listened to vinyl, you know, and you'd go through like your parents' records, or you'd go through like, you know, your neighbors' records because they'd always still
you guys are making me feel old.
But no, I mean, like there were these albums that were like in everybody's collection, and Rumors was one of those albums, and so I would put it on, you know, at the house. It was like, oh, I wonder what this is. Yeah, I'm going to listen, you know, and just that feeling and the vibe of that album was just uplifting. And
dropping an edible in.
Yeah.
Right,
like
sure. I was 13. Okay, sure. I'm doing something.
Kind of like that scene in Wayne's World. You know?
I guess I was 14.
Wayne's World 2. Yeah, it's kind of like that scene in Wayne's World 2 where he's showing her the vinyl records. Like, hey, do you have this one? It's Peter Frampton Comes Alive. And she's like, and that's what I think about Fleetwood Mac too. It's like, dude, you were issued that record. Like, you didn't have a choice. You were just given it.
It's like
Led Zeppelin 2. Like I would always run into Led Zeppelin 2 in people's collections. I'm like,
for real. Yeah.
The guitarist name by the Steve Lukather. Of course I know Steve Lukather. But anyway, that's what
I'm talking about, John. Toto did the theme from Dune. It came out in 1984.
Rosanna. Too much sand. Rosanna.
So Jay, when are you going to get a green screen? That's what because
I
then
don't.
we can.
I got this
kick these-
awesome background. Like people like looking at.
But
you
he
could
doesn't
put
need
it.
a green
But
screen.
you
You've got so much crap behind him. It's like
You-
a
you
little puzzle or Where's Waldo of toys.
could put the green screen in front of you.
But what's really cool? I mean, going back to this whole thing, like the amount of like, dare I use the term millennials? There's a lot of younger folks who are becoming, aware of some of this other stuff.
But
And it's really cool to see people like getting into Fleetwood Mac.
that's what's great though about like movies and things like that. That just any kind of pop media culture that happens real quick. Because like to me, the Dazed and Confused soundtrack when it came out in '94 is what really got me into more older music. Of course, I was only 13 at the time, but that's what that was like the first little like, oh, it's 2 CDs of just awesome '70s music. I'm like, what is this? And like what Matt was saying about how he discovered Fleetwood Mac. What made me discover Fleetwood Mac is maybe it's the same for Jay, maybe not, but like it's actually the EP issued by Smashing Pumpkins in '95 that had Landslide cover.
Oh yeah,
on
that's
it.
so good.
And that was the first time I had heard any Fleetwood Mac song. I was like, what is this? And it's like, oh, it's by Fleetwood Mac. I'm like, oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I think Landslide was
halfway to
probably my
retirement.
first, experience of Fleetwood Mac. I will say one of my favorite things to do is if you have good headphones or if you have a good stereo system, I think those things are going away. Not a lot of people have that anymore. But if you have a really good quality, maybe if you have like 2 HomePods or whatever, just to have like a surround sound. If you listen to Never Going Back Again on a surround sound setup, it's fucking magical. Like I it's like I can't even explain it. Like how amazing that track is laid down. It sounds unbelievable.
It is especially important to listen to it on vinyl and not a current release. You need a release of the vinyl from the 70s or 80s when it was still pulled from the analog tapes.
Yeah.
That version of it on a good like record player sound system is and he did that song with the Christy McVie Fleetwood Mac thing. He came out just him and an acoustic guitar. It's
So good.
good.
Yeah, I love like there's a few of them like VH1 did these classic vinyl things. They did a few of them. They did one for Rumors. If no one has seen it, you need to watch it. It's very good. And he actually talks about like why he wrote Never Going Back Again because Stevie and him had already broken up at this point. And he says, yeah, I went on like a little vacation in the middle of '76, and he goes, and I met this girl, and he goes, it just kind of put a little wind in my sails, and that's why it has that kind of up feeling to it, that the picking to it. But even though the message is a bit never going back to you again, but it's still good.
So Will Fry brings up the millennials are 24 to 39, which I think is bullshit. I think that needs to be broken up further.
Well, I'm still Generation
the people
Y.
the people I'm referring to are folks who are younger than
That's Zennials, bruh.
what the fuck ever you want to
So
call
what's
yourself.
what's
I don't
worse
give
than
a shit.
millennial? Is Zennial?
Millennial now is like
They are.
January '81 through like '96 or something like that, which I think is bullshit. But
Anyway, can I just say something though, real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
Get the hell out.
I got into Fleetwood Mac. One, my Nana, but the other part was the dance, their reunion thing. And I think their Behind the Music came out around the same time. But so I was a very new guitar player, and I would try to watch concerts of guitarists that people said were good. And my guitar teacher was just like, this guy's really good. So I was like, okay, I'm going to watch
He would
it.
say like this. No, man, this guy's really good.
And so I was like, okay. So I was like obsessed with just like, I would buy tapes of Jimi Hendrix, the song Remains the Same is where I really like Jimmy Page became my ultimate. But so the dance, I remember watching it when they aired it on VH1 in '97. And that was just like, this is amazing. So that was it for me.
Oh, before Jay leaves, if you guys have never listened to it, it's been out of print since basically it came out. But get the Buckingham Nicks record from '73 is also very good. And the one track, if you need to YouTube one, look for Frozen
Rancid
Love.
That one too, isn't it?
What?
Isn't there a pre Fleetwood Mac version of Rancid?
No, yeah. Well, I'm not sure if they've ever released it, but yeah, like Landslide was written. I don't know. Yeah, it was written in '74. But
Jack, what the hell is?
I know the track that Lindsay always sings, but Stevie wrote,
Yeah, you got it,
is on both that record and the White record.
from Fleetwood Mac. But Frozen Love, the last track on the Buckingham Nicks record, excellent track. What the hell are you doing, Jack?
Oh my God.
Like, why do people watch this show anymore?
I don't know what's going on.
Well, if you were paying attention,
We were having our own thing.
Matt and I were
Yeah.
passing the doobie back and
Oh, I-
forth.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm talking to Jay here.
You got to come to
It's usually-
Massachusetts, man.
It's usually Chris that is like over doing drugs while we're talking.
But I live in North Carolina. All I can do is dream.
All right. Congrats on 100. And to the question about Jack, did he say it before? The problem with podcasting with Jack is he runs out of jokes by episode 10. So if you do 100, you've already gone through him at least 10 times. So
If you do the math, he's reused his jokes 10, 15 times.
Well, to be fair, at least I have at least 10 jokes.
what?
At least I have at least 10 jokes. Unlike the guy.
I'm not.
earlier.
I'm the announcer.
You're just the guy to hit record. That's all it is.
Chris is not
He is the-
pretending.
He is the joke. I like that, Nick. That was good.
Jay, thanks for stopping by. And
Dear Chris,
this is a great place to put one of those commercial breaks.
There you go.
Happy birthday, man.
Oh, thanks.
See you, Jay.
Have a good time, everybody.
Is he still here?
Bye, chat. See ya.
That was a long commercial break.
God damn! I'm higher than a kite.
Yeah,
I'm
no
actually
kidding.
surprised he stayed as long as
Was
he did.
Bebo.
Really.
Well, we start talking about music. That's
So,
Yeah.
But
speaking of-
did you hear? I met Eddie Van Halen. Did you hear that?
So speaking of weed, so the other day we were redoing my daughter's room, repainting her room, and my father-in-law came over to help out.
You got your
and my-
daughter and your father-in-law high. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah,
So-
no kidding, man. That
Did you put like marijuana leaf plants?
No, so my father-in-law is a product of, he grew up in the 60s and he enjoys things that happened in the 60s and now happen legally in Massachusetts
Is
today.
he protesting wars?
So he came over. He did. So he came over to help out with a painting, and he went to shake my wife's hand, which is really weird. Like, why is he? He's like,
It's
so good
COVID.
to see you, and he hands her a 2-pack of joints. Because he there's a dispensary in between my in-laws and my house, and he loves to stop there and chat people up. He learns quite a bit from them.
Hey, honey. This is
He
what we
always
painted.
feels bad only going in and spending like a small amount of money. So he goes in, whenever he stops, he always stops and picks stuff up for us, which is awesome. But that night, my daughter had a sleepover at her friend's house, and my son was asleep. And we had like the first time in forever where my wife and I just got to fucking hang out. So we sat outside in the back, had a fire. I smoked the first joint that I've smoked in probably, I don't even know how many years. I haven't smoked a joint in forever.
Joints are much easier than the pipe. I can't do the pipe.
Yeah,
Little
yeah.
bowl
And,
in
and,
it. Yeah.
and it was
I can't. It burns my throat.
Yeah.
yeah, it was awesome. I miss it, and they're cheap. They're super cheap. It's like $10 for 2 joints. It's
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
But hey, so not talking about weed for a quick second. Let's
Stop talking about
So-
weed.
Can I just tell you guys? I mentioned this on the show a couple of weeks ago. There's a show that I had seen and heard about, and I started watching it, and I mainlined the first season. I like burned through it, and it is a highly recommend from me. It's a new series
Oh,
on
Utopia?
Hulu called Utopia. Yes.
I just like.
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah. It was fantastic, and you don't really get a full picture of what the hell's going on from the trailer, which is great because you need to kind of like jump into it head first. But holy shit, it's fucked up. Like it's super, super fucked up. Yeah, that is not the images from Utopia.
Just some other Utopia. Yeah.
Yeah, don't know what that is, but that is definitely not it.
Looks like a bird.
about
I
the
would
one-
do a
what about
search
the-
for Utopia. Maybe
what about
maybe
the
it's a
blue one?
remake of something. It looks like perhaps.
You're like Utopia Amazon.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
Yeah, not Hulu, Amazon. Sorry. Perhaps maybe it actually is a remake. I have no idea.
There you go.
That's more like it. So the show is fucking awesome, man. It's completely fucked up. The basic concept of it is that I'll give you what you get from the trailer is that there's this
they're looking at a hatch
graphic novel that predicts the future of like pandemics and sicknesses and collapses of different parts of civilization. And there's this like ragtag group of people that are intent like fanboys of this comic, and that they're trying to seek out as much as they can. But there's a group of people but there's a group of people that if you have seen this comic or if you see this book, they're going to kill you. Essentially, that's the best way I can describe.
I remember you saying that. Yeah.
And the story that comes out of it after that is incredible. It just when you think the show couldn't get more fucked up, it does. And it was awesome. So I don't want to share any more or spoil any more than that. But the show is fantastic.
I think Randy brings up a good point. He just writes the one comment, Das Boot.
Well, Chris has seen it.
No, but he's supposed to be watching the series.
Supposed to watch the series.
I started watching his. It was a documentary on Columbia, the NASA.
Oh
no,
okay.
the space shuttle that blew up, and I started thinking.
Columbia did blow up too. Yeah, I've always thinking.
No, not Columbia. The Challenger.
Challenger.
And I started watching. I said, well, wait a minute. It's getting kind of negative. I can't talk about this on the podcast because Joanne was playing, which for NASA. So I just. But it was. I only watched the first episode, but it was really so far. It's pretty fascinating. It's like a lot about. It's like you're like what they knew, not NASA so much, but what they knew. And it's like God. But anyway, that's where I'm at so far on.
Nice. Yeah, like I'd been recommending for HBO Max subscribers Raised by Wolves. I think it's 9 episodes, maybe 10. Yeah, 10 maybe.
9.
No, it's 10. 9. 9. And I think it's a good. I gave it like a 7 out of 10, 6.5, 7 out of 10.
You didn't give it a 9?
I didn't give it a 9, no. Because like I thought it was really good. It's very, I forget his name. Ridley Scott. It's very Ridley Scott, dark in tone, like very sci-fi. The last episode is kind of what made me kind of go, oh man. Like it wasn't bad, but it was just like it wasn't what I was expecting. So it kind of left me with a little bit of, oh, okay. And then the other series, which Chris and I have talked about, I think Matt too from time to time, The Boys season 2.
Yeah, I'm still on episode 2.
Okay.
Oh, so you can't talk about that.
Jack tonight.
The Boys season 2 is great, and Chris is always right.
Wait a minute. I'm like how I got kicked to the curb. Matt doesn't watch it, but I got kicked to the curb.
Oh, it's his birthday. He can do no wrong this episode.
We
missed last week, so it's officially your birthday, even though it's not your birthday.
Well, now that the Padres are done, I can catch up on some of these shows because I want to. I think the right stuff on Apple TV.
That's on.
Is it Disney?
Apple TV. No, it's Disney Plus. Yeah.
The right stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Apple TV doesn't have.
Jack, you're Apple TV has For All Mankind.
For All Mankind. For All Mankind is good, but that's the only show.
Well, that's why. Because I went on Apple TV and I said, "Show me the right stuff," and I went to Disney TV. Okay. But anyway, so I had it set up, but then I started watching the Chargers, and they were choking against New Orleans, which is always great. And then I started watching the Braves versus the Dodgers. I said, okay, I'll watch. And then by then it was like midnight. I said, all right, I got to go to bed. So I haven't started it yet. But if it's anything like the movie is great. The movie's fan. If you haven't seen the movie, which I'm sure Chris hasn't. Yeah, it's the first 2 episodes are up.
Okay, good. Yeah. And then,
but Chris, I'm sure you haven't seen The Right Stuff, right? Am I correct?
No.
Oh man, you gotta watch that one. That's good.
Yeah, that is good. I mean, I think it's
a 3-hour movie though.
It's a long movie, but it's still good. I mean, because like that's what Ron Howard.
17 months to watch Das Boot.
I know, but like Ron Howard didn't want to make Apollo 13 because of The Right Stuff. He was like, I can't top The Right Stuff. I mean, that's how good it is,
Well, he didn't top it.
He didn't top it, but he still made a good movie.
It's damn close.
Yeah,
it's not men trapped underwater in a boat. They're flying high in the sky.
Reaching for the sky.
I mean, there's only one memorable line from The Right Stuff, which is "You got any demons?" But that's it. Who's the best pilot you ever saw, Matt?
Huh?
Who's the best pilot you ever saw?
I don't know what quote you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
So
Me.
Well,
I mean,
you're looking
seen
at
it, but it's been
You're looking at him.
probably 10 years maybe since I've rewatched it. I think I rewatched it sometime in the aughts. I did. So
Speaking of pilots, here's a fucked up thing that happened. I was watching Full House tonight, 1980s version of Full House, with my daughter and my wife, and we were watching the episode where Jesse gets married to Aunt Becky. And
okay.
Jesse's like, he freaks out right before the wedding. He's like, let's go, Joey, come with me, come in. I'll tell you about what's going on. I'm gonna tell you what's going on the way to the airport. And he's like, the airport? What the fuck are we doing at the airport? And all of a sudden, it cuts to a clip of apparently Uncle Joey can fly airplanes because Uncle Joe was flying an airplane, taking Jesse skydiving.
Wait, Uncle Joey was a comedian, right?
Yeah. He was a treetop flyer. You know, he would just fly
all
over Mexico. You know, pick it up. You know,
he wasn't Narcos. He was in Narcos. Yeah. Telling jokes, doing because he did.
Cut it out.
Well, Uncle Joey was the one that did. He was stand-up comic, right?
Yeah, Joe.
Dave Coulier, right?
Dave Coulier.
Yeah.
He also had a show on Nickelodeon, I believe it was.
Well, what happened to him after that?
I mean, he married and then got divorced. Alanis Morissette. She wrote a song about him.
Oh, that's who's the guy? Who's the guy that the lead guy used to do video? They used to do the video shows. The dad of the show of Full House.
Bob Saget.
Bob Saget.
Now,
marijuana is not a drug.
Now, you suck dick for coke.
Now that's the thing. That's the thing about Bob. That's the thing about Bob Saget is he's the dad on Full House. He's the video guy. And oh my God, he's like when I first saw, I went, what?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Anyway.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Well, they were all Coulier was a comedian. John Stamos was a comedian. I think what's his name? Not John Stamos. He was a comedian. He was on General Hospital or some shit.
Yeah, he was a drummer for Beach Boy, which I saw in concert.
He's the Beach Boy, man. He is.
I wish they all could be.
He's kind of like how Jay is part of this group,
right?
This podcast.
Yeah, but
I actually think Stamos had a longer run.
Yeah, Stamos never ages.
He doesn't. He looks fucking good for his age.
I hate him. Him and what's
Rob Lowe.
Rob Lowe. Yeah.
I was watching Rob Lowe. I was watching Rob Lowe on what's his name.
It's the same as like what's his name?
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan. Thank you.
The guy that was Batman. ER.
Clooney.
Yeah, Clooney. I never thought Clooney was a good-looking man when he was young, but like as he gets older, he's got the pepper, the black. He looks better as he gets older. You're like,
he's always been. Let's face it. But he is one of those guys that has gotten better as he's gotten older, and he's letting it kind of go natural. And you go, what a dick.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what an asshole.
Hate George Clooney, but he'd probably be good he'd be good on the show, wouldn't he?
Yeah, it's like sometimes I hang out with some friends of mine that are like 10 years younger than me. And
sometimes I hang out with George Clooney.
George Clooney, yeah. You got Tom Cruise, I got George Clooney.
Yeah, it's true.
I call him Gigi.
Yeah, Gigi. Yeah, like we go hang out like Como in Italy, and he's just like, oh yeah, take off your tops, show Nick. I'm like, oh cool, yeah, thanks.
Randy says, didn't Van Halen do a version? No, it was David Lee Roth. Oh, my sister.
It's David Lee Roth, yeah.
My sister had to, because I had to read it first anyway. I had that. I think Jay has that album now.
I started to say that like earlier about that, like why groups break up, because that's what I always read was that they broke up because like the same as like with Mike Love with the Beach Boys, like Van Halen wanted to go to more synthesizers, in the mid '80s, and David Lee Roth just wanted to keep going with the guitars, and and it's like any artist will say, like they can't keep doing the same thing over and over again, and that was one of the reasons why David Lee Roth left. It was like, oh, I don't like
David Lee Roth want to keep on. I mean, how do you
guys
remember
are just making noises on this podcast now? It makes
that's what he did. It made a lot of money. I was watching the video of whatever happened to the girl on Hot for Teacher.
Yeah.
Anyway,
she's still teaching. She's
still teaching.
She is teaching.
She's still teaching.
Oh.
But, now
if you look back at that video, it's not right. It's one of those videos you guys can go.
Of course, Me being a millennial, when I hear Hot for School teacher, I think of Varsity Blues and that teacher, which is a Smoke Show.
Mm-hmm.
Jack has no idea what I'm talking about.
I saw Varsity Blues, but I think only thing I remember about Varsity Blues is the guy that kept getting knocked out, right? But he was also, I think the same actor did Not Another Teen Movie.
He did, yeah.
He reprised the role because Not Another Teen Movie. You haven't seen it, Chris.
Billy Bob.
I've seen it.
Okay, that movie is fantastic. Chris,
fucking tan. I still got one.
So
the janitor of the nose hall.
Going back to a little bit, just kind of a tangent from talking about Utopia. I listened to Mark Maron's WTF podcast.
Fuck Mark Maron. Fuck him.
Why do you have to be? You need to get over your grudge, dude.
What's the grudge, Mark Maron?
He took a podcast award from us.
Oh, so he had John Cusack.
Well, part of you guys too, Maron.
No. I mean, I think you should be proud that, maybe you were in the category as opposed to being like.
No, I wouldn't be one of those ones who gracefully going. I'd be like,
so anyways,
fuck you!
He had John Cusack on his show recently, and they're talking about Utopia and stuff, which is kind of cool because apparently Cusack went to his agents go find the most fucked up script that's never going to have a chance of being made because it's too whatever, and that's how he discovered his role on that show. Oh, really? But they also got into a really cool conversation talking about music. They're talking about the Beach Boys, talking about the Beatles and stuff, and it's something you guys probably already know, because I believe you guys are huge Beach Boys and Beatles historians.
Yep.
But one cool fact that I learned from that show was Paul McCartney's cameo performance on the Smile Sessions.
Yeah, he's eating carrots.
He's eating carrots.
Yeah.
And that was the impetus for him to go back to the UK and was like, guys, we got to fucking copy this sound because this is what we need to do to win.
Yeah,
so he took everything from the Beach Boys.
Yeah, he did.
Back to the Beatles.
Oh my god!
I thought I talked about this before.
You have, and then the fact I'm like,
I don't want to record. I don't want to record anymore.
Yeah, okay, so you're right. So Paul, to this day, if you ask Paul to this day, what's his favorite song of all time, he will say "God Only Knows." He was so in love with Pet Sounds that when he recorded Penny Lane, he wanted that clean Pet Sounds sound. That's why you have all that weird, this very sound it does. But anyway, yeah. So he flew over to LA to listen to the Smile Sessions, and if you listen to Vegetables, which has that, I'm gonna eat my vegetables, it's the same thing as woke up, fell out of bed, drowned the comb across my head. It's the same. It's the same tempo. Yeah.
Sorry for repeating your story.
No. I didn't mean it that way. I should say
this. Sorry for not listening to your story the first time.
When do you ever listen to my stories?
Hold on a second. This story's been told before. That's not allowed.
Yeah. But yeah.
The Beach Boys are my San Diego Padres of this show.
I thought you were going to say Brady Bunch with me, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, he's a Brady Bunch. No, but I don't want to offend your sister.
Who? My sister?
Didn't your sister write in saying about?
Oh yeah, she was.
Yeah, I'm just looking out.
So Jack, not Jack's 2-6. Well, just go the heck with my sister. Who cares?
I do.
Yeah, and represent.
Actually, we have an email, don't we?
We do.
Do we?
Do we?
Look at that. We got an email on our 100th episode.
Oh,
it warms the heart.
I must have missed it.
So not Jack, sit, smile, and clap.
Say you missed it, Nick.
Well, I guess we can go ahead and read that, even though it's early on.
No. I'm not the producer. I'm not the guy. I'm not the.
Well, the only thing I have written down were the.
If I was a producer, we'd have more listeners, but that's okay.
Okay. Thanks for that. I don't really feel like I'm producer by choice. It was just kind of like the last straw. Like you're the person that's like
you love being the producer. You know what we should do? If you don't want to, we should rotate it once a year.
Sure.
And I volunteer to go last.
I did think it would be fun to do a versus on our 100th episode.
We should.
And
Randy
I
says
had
our
been
next email is going to be at 200.
I was brainstorming about what it could be, because it's like we've done a lot of things, and Jack always likes to say that I'm the favorite. I say we have verses of our favorite RCA or RC whatever we are called.
No, that's a horrible idea.
But we have to choose the other person, or we get it.
Look, so you're basically wanting us to pick somebody else, and then you're wanting us to shit on each other, which we already do anyway.
And then that's gonna. And then Matt doesn't matter who. No, wait. It doesn't matter who Matt picks. Hold on a second, Matt. It doesn't matter who Matt picks. He gets the most votes. He wins.
Yeah, exactly. You just
And the rest of us with one vote each look like shit.
Yeah. No. Who's your favorite member of Van Halen? Van Halen. Oh.
I'm gonna pull a J. And what does he always say? He's like, production note or
it's
whatever.
my baby.
No. He always says kind of like,
He always says we're at an hour.
Yeah, that's time to end it. I got somewhere to be. I gotta drop my kids off at Jackson in 5 hours.
I do not like that idea.
Okay, fair enough. Then you know what I have in replacement of a versus? I did also think pie. Pie would be a good, because I don't think we've ever done like our favorite pies.
I don't eat pie.
Bye, Miss American Pie.
But
Grandma's apple pie.
Dude, it's good. I'll tell you what I had for my birthday.
Apple pie. I can't pick that.
I will tell you what I had for my birthday. I am not a cake person,
Yeah.
Thank you, Sherry, for recognizing this. I mean, of all of the people, I feel like the vote is in.
My life.
So I like pie for my birthday.
Wait, who?
Or whatever. I don't have.
If Matt's in charge, who plays the stupid guy? His friend,
guy. The one who said it.
I'll take it.
Chris, I choose you.
I finally get a roll.
That's
it was Willie Ames. That's who it was. Willie Ames. It was a stupid guy in Charles.
Oh yeah, Charles's buddy. His name is Buddy.
Buddy. Yeah.
I love how once again we've just derailed Matt's conversation there.
Totally derailed. I'm thinking pies, and I'm thinking about my birthday last week.
We're talking about Charles and George.
Yeah.
Charles and Charles.
I'm fairly easygoing about pies. I'm somewhat maybe American.
I don't get too uptight about pies.
I like apple pies. It seems very generic, but I do like the crumble top. Like it's got the sugar and the brown sugar. There are other good pies, like a strawberry pie. Really delicious.
Strawberry. Who fucking makes a strawberry pie?
My wife does, and it's amazing.
You gotta say that.
Really amazing. Yeah, you fresh sliced, and then you kind of have like almost like a jam kind of filling.
Mm-hmm.
It's delicious.
So it's like a
Pop-Tart? No, it's it's a Pop-Tart where you have a lot more of the fruit filling.
Strawberry Pop-Tarts are my
better than the Kellogg's. So, and I do like a strawberry Pop-Tart.
Toasted or not toasted?
With the white frosting or the non-white?
I think it just depends on how.
It's got to have the cocaine on it.
Okay. If you want to do Pop-Tarts, we can always do Pop-Tarts.
I mean, it's toss-up for me between brown sugar, cinnamon, and strawberry. But they absolutely have to be frosted. If you get the unfrosted Pop-Tarts,
hey, look,
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
you kids don't know. I grew up. We didn't have frosted Pop-Tarts.
Exactly.
They were just plain fucking Pop-Tarts. You go, but it was like, okay, I don't have to have cream of wheat today. I can have a Pop-Tart. Yes.
I'm weird because I get the blueberry Pop-Tart plain, and I don't put them in the toaster. I just eat them cold.
But you're a diabetic, though, right?
It's true. I don't eat them. I haven't eaten a Pop-Tart in probably 10 years or more.
Okay. I think going back to the Pop-Tart, you got to have it toasted because you get all the warm goodness, and you're just like, oh yeah, that's the shit. But there's nothing like a grab and go Pop-Tart. But
the thing with Pop-Tarts, to cook or not to cook, it's totally dependent on the situation.
Yeah.
Because the final result is not worth the extra effort if you're like in a bind. Like, you know, do I stop and toast this Pop-Tart? By that time you think about it, you're like, I could have been fucking crushing one of these things already. You know what? I got a second one to deal with. I'm done. Like, it's the thing is, but if you have the time and someone's gonna throw it in for you, and you have to get up off your seat, yeah, you can have one toasted.
The worst thing about the Pop-Tart, when you open up the wrapper, it's all crumbled. It also goes all over the floor.
That's
I don't know. Has that problem. It's like a pain in the ass.
It's not that much of a pain in the ass, Jack. You don't open it like a savage.
Well, like a month ago,
pie chart. What are we going here?
The Pop-Tart pie chart, yes.
Curve.
Well, about a month ago, we were at the store. And he goes, "Have some pop?" I go, "I haven't had those in a while. The box is still unopened. I still have the box."
Send them my way.
Is that the drawing? Is that the drawing, Matt, for the email?
Yeah. And by the way, I would love to send this to Belgium, but I feel like I should be sending you something more than just.
It took me 2 seconds. Yeah,
it took me 2 seconds. It does have a top 10 list.
Sweet potato pie.
Sweet potato pie is great.
Yeah. I'm not. I'll just say this. I'm not a fan. We actually stopped doing that. Where they send you the meals.
What, Thanksgiving?
Yeah. We stopped Thanksgiving. No. You know how you pay for the meals they send you. You have to make them. Whatever we're using, every meal had sweet potatoes in it.
Yeah.
I go, I don't like sweet potatoes. It's like sweet potato French fries, sweet potato this.
They never. Yeah, they always sent you starches every time. Blue Apron. They always sent you starches.
Yeah, that's what
it was. Always potatoes. It was always potatoes or rice, and you're like, God damn it, just send me some green beans or broccoli from time to time. Or quinoa.
What the hell's the quinoa?
Quinoa is just someone invented quinoa and just said like, I'm going to take some sand and make it taste better. It's just fucking garbage. Sorry, I hate quinoa.
Quinoa.
It looks like little fish eggs. It's just shit.
Yeah. Oh, we call it something else.
Oh, we eat quinoa. So my wife usually garnishes it with like cheese and a little bit of black.
That's what I'm saying. But you have to camouflage it. It's like grits. You can't just eat it plain.
Cindy loves it.
Quinoa doesn't fucking taste like anything.
No,
I don't think we call it quinoa. We call it something else.
Wait, in North Carolina, you create your own names for these types of grains?
Sure. What the hell? I'd never had it before until we got. I go, the fuck are these little? I thought they were like little
cruel.
You know, like when you go fishing, so it says bait. You put them on your hook. Never went fishing. Never.
All I know is
I in Massachusetts. You know, they just go out and they throw out the lobster traps. You know, and they just pull them in.
It's lobster traps, first of all.
And they beat up old people.
And they beat up old people, yeah.
So speaking of,
that is just wrong in the chat. By the way, whoever wrote that, in the private comment, keep that shit out of there.
That was you. That was whoever controls the Ramblecast, the producer.
Yeah.
So here is further evidence that I was not involved in a physical altercation with an elderly man, because this photo
a still photo is not evidence.
This photo was taken on the night in question, and you can see how far away he was from me.
Look, whatever. You know that stadium rules don't count.
I don't
when you're drunk, you could easily, your arm goes from 3 feet to like 6 feet when you're drunk. You know,
Nick is 100% correct. If you've ever
this is the dude that got his glasses broken. No.
Yeah.
Oh, here.
So, that's you incognito, isn't it?
The guy in the foreground was to my right, and to his right was that gentleman who got those actual glasses broken.
No, Nick is right. You go on YouTube and Google any stadium fight. It's the whole section is fighting.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that, but also what bothers me more than anything, that was Patriot.
Whoops! I remember
him. Yeah,
there he's back.
That was Patriot crime. So that
it was. It was. So I'll tell you this. I'm gonna say this. I'm probably gonna get a lot of shit from it. No one's gonna give a fuck.
Oh come on!
The Patriots fans in the stadium are fucking terrible.
No.
Oh,
can I tell you this?
Wow.
Can I help you out on that? The Patriots fans outside the stadium.
So the altercation started from this the simple thing that most people in the stadium, at least in the upper decks, they don't stand; they sit for the entire fucking game. And I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. Like,
well, you're buying a seat.
Just wait till you get to Matt's age.
But when your team is on your team is playing,
your knees aren't as good. Your back hurts, and you want to sit.
Don't sit when your team is on defense. You need to stand and be the 13th.
When it's defense, you're there. Sorry, you're a fan. You're wearing the jersey, whatever. You stand. Chris, I'm right there with you. I've been to a couple games before where I've stood up. Some old guy in the back's just like, sit down. And
so that's look,
that man paid $150 out of his Social Security check to go to that game, and he deserves to be respected. So you sit your young ass down.
I will stand when it's appropriate, but I will sit too. I mean, there's times that I don't stand the whole time.
Chris, you and I are on the same team.
I'm from California, and there's times that you just have to sit. I mean, it's just you have to do it.
You know, it's funny. Like I used
California fans aren't real sports fans.
In the early 2000s, I made it a point to go to every single 60s bands I could find because they're getting old. I wanted to make sure I saw people before they passed away. And I remember I was still young and I'd go and dance and have fun in the front rows, all stuff. And I remember
I want to see you dance.
It's just it's the chicken dance, like whenever you're on drugs and you're at a concert, you don't really dance. You just kind of throw the left a little bit and then you throw the right, and then it's just a little that's what you do, So anyway, or that Matt, when you're really coming down, you kind of get in the low gear. You're just kind of you kind of like running in place.
Nick, is you need to go on and do a guitar solo for somebody and request dance lessons like Eddie.
So
I was gonna say for Michael Jackson, but they're both dead. So
I wouldn't want to be alone with Michael Jackson. I'm too old for it. Go ahead.
I remember standing all the time at these concerts though, and as soon as I would sit down, you'd hear 20 people behind me just. they're clapping hard for me to sit
that's
down.
another thing too, man. You're at a concert. You don't fucking sit.
Yeah, especially if you're on the floor. You buy the tickets on the floor.
Enjoy the music.
No.
Yeah. I went and saw Foreigner a couple of years ago, and I was the only person standing.
I got double vision.
And they were by the way.
I will tell you that
because they're old and their eyes are bad now.
I will tell you one thing. That's the beauty about being short is you can stand and nobody cares.
It's true.
I'm just throwing it out there. But you mentioned people dying. Baseball. Now, before your guys' time.
You mentioned people dying. There's this thing called COVID.
No. Well, no, but I'm saying, baseball has lost 5 legends in the last 2 months.
Oh,
right. I mean, some of the greatest players of all time. We've lost Tom Seaver.
Yep.
Bob Gibson, Whitey Ford, Joe Morgan, who I used to. When I was a kid, we all did the Joe Morgan. We'd cock his arm, the little chicken thing, and Lou Brock, who I wanted to be Lou Brock when I was a kid. Yeah. Those are 5 Hall of Famers that lost bang bang. And I started thinking,
Ty Cobb when you were a kid.
I did, but I just couldn't do it. I wasn't in the South, so I wasn't from Georgia. There was rules there, but no, those 5 guys are just. You read those 5 names. That's 5 amazing players from the game of baseball that I've started thinking. I go, well, shit, those are guys. Not Whitey Ford before my time, but still Joe Morgan, Lou Brock, and Tom Seaver, who I met. Tom Seaver. Just saying, I had to chase him down. I had to chase him down for an autograph, but no, it just those are 5 legends of the game of baseball that died in the last 2 months. So,
yeah.
But I told my wife, I said, Seth, I go, wait a minute, I'm getting to that age where these guys are going to start dying because it's they're old.
I was listening to Lewis Black the other day, who I love. Everyone doesn't know Snake Media, but he was talking about his mom. He's like, my mom, is 101 years old. And my dad passed away last year. And I'd like to say, I wish he could have been here longer, but he was 101. So it's like one of those things where it's like, you can't just be like, fuck, he should have lived. Like, no, he was 101. He goes, every year now, when my mom birthday comes around, he's like, and she blows out the cake. He goes, I passed the goal line. What the fuck? Just ready to go.
Well, John McCain's mom just died.
Yeah,
and she was 100. Now, I'm not trying to be funny here, but when you heard she died and she was 108, who else thought of Lost?
Oh, well, I didn't think of that. No, I just thought
am I the only one?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, anybody?
It's been 10 years since that show.
Well, I didn't hear that she was 108. So
she was 108. I said, "Holy crap!"
I guess if I would have heard that, but you've also been doing the Lost rewatch, so there's
true.
So I've been thinking about the women's suffragette movement because it's 100 years, and so I think about that like 100 years ago, like women got the right to vote for the first time. So in terms of like being 108, it's like, wow, she would have been 8 years old, and so hopefully she got her vote in.
Speaking of, Chris, did you watch SNL Saturday?
I have that written down.
Okay.
I did not. I saw the one clip of the Sam Adams clip, which is actually pretty fucking funny.
It was hilarious.
So I've heard from a lot of people. There's a lot of people on the internet that are not big fans of Bill Burr right now. There are people who loved it.
Yeah.
And I actually have a good friend of mine who's a huge Bill Burr fan. And he fucking hated it. He was like, dude, Bill Burr bombed. And that was his quote. I saw half of his monologue. I didn't watch the whole thing. But I did read a description as to what it was. And people are all up in arms. And it's like, dude, you obviously do not know who fucking Bill Burr is.
Yeah, exactly.
like this is quintessential. I'm not gonna back down and change my shit because I'm on TV. Bill Burr, like that's you're gonna, that is what you get with Bill Burr. And and the thing is, he's not that much of an asshole. Those are his jokes.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think that one of the jokes for me that I was like, at first I was like, whoa, what? But then it's kind of like a hook where you're like, you're still listening, and then he comes back to it, and the way, specifically about Pride Month, and bringing it back around of like, okay, like how about July then, like there, and I don't know. I mean, comedy always pushes the envelope.
I mean, that would make sense.
And I don't feel like I don't think he was like, there's nothing that he was promoting like, hey, I'm against these people.
Right.
And when you're listening to him talk, it's like he's being very topical, very now, very, like a little bit in your face, which is what we're kind of used to for the past while. But still, there was an element there that I laughed at, and, it's not to say that I'm like, I don't know. I mean, anyway, I don't think that he was completely out of line. I guess I liked that he pushed that.
But the thing is, though, my buddy who's a huge Bill Burr fan fucking loves Bill Burr. Just says he didn't nail it. Like he wasn't good enough. That was like his response.
I think you need to know your audience for one. Which that audience is not going to laugh at a lot of that stuff he did. Because things like he did, like with John Wayne, made total sense to me from a comedic standpoint. He's like, people are trying to cancel everything. He's like, people are trying to cancel fucking John Wayne. He's like, they're over going like, did you read that Playboy article from 1970? I'm like, no, and neither did you. It's like he was born in 1909. He's like, it's like everybody has that grandmother.
That bit, it's funny hearing those things because he's been practicing those bits on his podcast, and he's used that John Wayne bit on the show before. Yeah. But yeah, that's who he is. He does it for a laugh. He does it to try to get a rise out of people. He's not a racist homophobe like he's been called time and time again. I mean, I'm not being a Bill Burr apologist, but his wife is African American.
Yes,
like you know what I mean. Like you have to realize that there's and the thing is with most comedians, you have to realize that they don't actually mean 99% of the shit that they say. They say things for the shock value and for the joke. Because if you look at it from an angle of its comedy, as opposed to a political statement, you're going to find the humor in a lot of the stuff that they say. But I think that right now it's hard because you have people who are very sensitive, and I hate to use the term cancel culture, but it's there, right? Like people are already very much triggered to jump on any small little thing. So I think timing of it is pretty bad. If he was on this show 2 years ago, I think that it would be a different story.
Mm-hmm.
What I got from it, because I'm watching Twitter and I'm like going, oh my God, everyone was ripping him. I mean, it was social media was just tearing him apart. So I watched it, and I'll be honest with you, I laughed. To me, he wasn't making fun of the people he was talking about. He was making fun of the people that are hypocrites. That are, because we all know those people. We got to do this. We got to do this. And they're full of shit. And that's basically that's what I got from it. That he was making fun of the people.
Mm-hmm.
That are just the bullshit people that just jump on any, they're bandwagon people. They jump on, right. Oh, we're going to hate this today. I'm going to jump on this today.
All of the Padre fans that jumped on the bandwagon when you know.
And to be fair, they've made the playoffs 6 times in 51 years. So I get it. There's not a lot to be cheering for. And if I'm going to spend but I've been there since day one. So fuck off. But anyways, No, but that's what I got from it. That he was bashing the people that just jump on the I hate this bandwagon, because you see it all the time. Also, I follow people on Twitter, Facebook. I go, wait, all of a sudden this person doesn't like this now. I've never heard them. I never saw them complain. But I don't call them on. I just go whatever.
Speaking of whatever,
it's the number that group of people, however, is the number one concern of the Democratic Party right now, because they are speaking for the masses, and it's pushing people from the Democratic Party over to being conservative and forcing people into a vote that they don't want to make.
Speaking of vote we don't want to make, I think now is time for a good commercial break.
True.
Did we ever come up with a versus? Our favorite commercial of all time.
That requires thinking.
Yeah, that's a lot of thinking.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's go back to Pop-Tart.
I did have, and I threw this together at the last minute because I was thinking about things, 100 and like things, I used to do a top 10 from time to time. So I was thinking about masks actually the other day, and like, what are the, like we know, we should wear masks, and they suck, right? Like they pull on our ears, they fuck up our glasses. Like
I really don't. Once I put it on, I don't even think about it.
Like you can't hear people. Like it's just, there's just a lot of shitty aspects of it.
You
However,
can't hear people. I think you're wearing your mask wrong.
No, like the muffled. It's like voices are muffled.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you can't hear what other people are saying because voices are muffled. But
can I say something? Randy said grandson of I saw this. Grandson of President Tyler just died. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, well, he from what I understand, like John Tyler like had kids way late in life, and then that kid had a way late in life as well. So no, anyway, I just was kind of putting together like things that masks are cool about. I number 10 was really lame. So I'm just gonna say because it's like.
Then they got a top 9 list.
A top 9 list. We'll just cross that one out. So number 9, masks. You can get funny masks. Like masks have designs and stuff like that. And
Macaulay Culkin's mask.
Macaulay Culkin, that's a good one.
Yeah. Like I mean, I think this is one aspect of masks that is cool. Sometimes I'm like the people that are wearing a Trump mask. I'm like, do you see the hypocrisy of this? like what? So I'm kind of confused by that.
You don't see it has holes in it.
Right. Yeah. like straws, because they love plastic straws, and oh my God, plastic straws. But anyway, funny mask.
I don't use straws. They suck.
I also like I was at like the one of the lumber places, and somebody had like the Jaws mask, which I thought was cool. Number 8, it covers up ugly faces, so you can't see half of somebody's face. So
have you seen my thing on Karen's wearing a mask?
And the flip side of that,
exactly,
is that
it covers
eye makeup is out. It's insane. It's like next level right now. Mm-hmm. Eye makeup. If you have not looked around at the youth culture, I see them through the college lens, you know, like my students that come in, and I'm just like, holy cow! Like
it's a struggle though with the mask though, because like I know you guys have been married for a while, so you don't have the problems I do. But I was at a restaurant the other day with some coworkers, and the waitress was just smoking, you know, from what I could tell. But I don't know. She got her mask on. All you see is the eyes.
The pretty eyes thing, yeah.
The pretty eyes thing. But you don't know. She could take the mask off and she could have like you could kick a football through those teeth. You don't know.
Candy corn teeth.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they could be white, the yellow, and the orange, and you're like, oh shit. You know, you don't know.
But see, I feel like though that this kind of creates this new level for dating. I don't know because I do not date, but just that aspect of like, oh, you know, like we're going to reveal each other to what? No, I'm not thinking about it. I'm just saying that maybe anyway. Don't put words in my mouth. So you're saying
it's almost like, you know, STDs back in the 90s. Like, have you been checked before we do anything? And you're like, oh yeah, baby, I have. You know, and so it's not the same thing. It's like, have you had your COVID test?
Never said that,
off?
Nick.
Oh,
I don't know.
Look at you, Chris.
Speaking for yourself.
I was married in the 90s.
Okay.
Life's been over.
All right, moving on from ugly faces. Number 7.
Pretty sexist, though, Matt.
No, it's in general, ugly faces. It's more of a aesthetic racism.
It's a higher level. Chris, Matt, what if you made a mask and then like painted something on the mask to make yourself look prettier?
Has anyone made masks that look like that? Have this?
Yeah, I've seen people wear a mask.
Matt wears a mask that says, "I am not Edward Snowden."
Don't arrest me, FBI.
Speaking of Edward Snowden, number 7 is ninja.
I never noticed it before, but Chris was
like
100%
people.
spot on.
What was number 7? I couldn't hear you, Matt.
Ninjas. Because when people wear masks, they kind of look like ninjas. If you have a hood on, if you were wearing a hoodie with a mask on, it's straight up like.
I think that's racist.
G.I. Joe Cobra. Like,
I don't like the whole
everything. Okay, thanks. I'm the Bill Burr.
Kim says I got married in 1990. I got married in 1989. I win. Go ahead.
All right.
You know that ninjas wear blue?
Did I?
Knew that. I was thought they wear black. They wear blue.
I thought it was black. It's
blue.
They can wear lots of different colors.
Well, so if you look up like historic ninjas, they wear blue because blue is actually more correct with night than black. Black actually is easier to see at night than blue.
Speaking of blue and the painting behind me,
it's like you're in the ocean right now with like little seaweeds floating.
Speaking of blue, the Dodgers lost.
That's a good thing.
So I've been working on this painting over the period of time in which we haven't been meeting or what have you. So
that's why you had to skip last week.
It's a lot of blue, a lot of green, and there was one night I'm working on it for like 2 hours, right? You know, just like solid, just blue, like that's where my face is.
Here's a question: how do you think Van Gogh would wear a mask?
Well, I think part of it.
You saw what I sent you guys. I sent that to you. He's just got a mask hanging from one ear.
I'm afraid of checking anything you guys send me. I'm afraid to look at. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right time, Matt. Sorry.
Big dick. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thanks. You couldn't have just waited.
The joke wouldn't have landed if I would have waited.
All right, whatever. So, Van Gogh,
part of the mystique.
Maybe you put like a punch a brush in the hole, and he would look on that.
That is just sick. You guys are wrong, and you totally just whatever. You know.
I got it now, honey. I can go out now.
Painting time story is over. I'm moving on. Number 6, perfume. Sometimes I hate perfume, so wearing a mask is like this thing where I'm just like, oh, I don't have to smell your shitty ass cologne. No, like just cologne in general, or like smells. It's a little bit more muffled. Like now, it's like I can kind of smell it that it's there, but I know that I'm not getting a full.
I'm gonna tell you right now, you can still smell warm taffy.
What if you don't brush your teeth as much anymore because you have the mask on? Nobody can really smell your breath.
Yeah,
boom. That's number 5.
Oh, okay.
Bad breath.
Way to go, Nick.
So,
way to go, Van Gogh.
You can't smell other people's bad breath, you know, and And then you also don't have to worry about spreading your bad breath. So if you're like, but then in turn, you're like, oh, I got to have a breath mint. So then you put a breath mint in and oh man, your eyes are fucked because that.
Have you tried having an Altoid while wearing a mask?
Oh my, you will go blind.
It's like a form of torture.
Yeah.
It really is. I felt my retinas burn off of my face.
You ever tried chewing gum when you have the mask on?
Yeah.
It's like hitting in the face. It's a pain in the ass. Don't do it.
I don't know how you chew gum, but that is wrong. Don't do this.
This motion, I don't.
It's like the mask moves because your jaw's.
Maybe Cindy likes it when you chew gum in bed. I don't know.
Look, I'm just telling you. Look, don't be. I didn't make the Van Gogh joke. Don't be jumping on me.
All right. So the other night, I'm painting on this painting 2 hours straight. Right. I'm listening to what's that? Yeah, it does. I go upstairs to the bathroom, right? And it's dark. I'm not. And the weirdest thing, this is the weirdest side effect. Everything was red. Like all of the black that was upstairs in my
fucking ghost.
No. Like it's because I was looking at blue and I'm looking in the dark. Like there was there was a complete
season 3.
Kim, I do like custard pie. That is a solid contender. So
why is the mask red?
I also like sugar cream pie.
Using strawberry pie.
So. Okay, so
I like cherry pie. Well, the video.
You guys.
Oh, Warrant.
Yeah, the song that killed the '80s.
Pecan pie, not a big fan of. Like it's one of my least favorite pies. I gotta say.
No.
All right, back to my top 10 list. I'll finish this out. It should have been about pies. Now I'm second guessing this. So, number 4, random boogers. Like anything that's hanging from your nose, like that you don't know about. Like it is now.
It goes on the mask.
Yeah, but you like sure, but like let's say something's in your nose, like cocaine or like just dangling down. It is covered by the.
Well, this show took a turn for the worse.
You'll just.
Like crack.
You thought chewing gum.
Wait, hold on a second. If you get a booger or a bat in the belfry, you know what I mean, and you're wearing a mask, like isn't that a benefit? I mean, you're first of all, you're blocking that from everyone to see, and if it falls out, it's going to fall into the mask.
But it's already true. It's already obstructing your breathing. Breathing's already hard as it is, so you get more obstruction.
Yeah, I'm just saying you're going
to naturally rub the mask, so it's going to stick to the mask.
Okay, but then you wash it. That's where you wash the fucking mask.
But you're still walking around with that thing clinging to your face for an hour.
I'm saying that this is a benefit.
I don't think that's a plus. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to disagree with you. Let's take a vote on it. Let's take it. No.
You guys don't vote on my fucking list. I made the list.
Chris, yay or nay?
Yay. Wait, what does yay mean?
Well, yay is we don't.
I'm with Jack.
This is a republic.
Okay. Nick, are you with me or Matt?
I'm against boogers in the nose.
Okay, so it's 3-1. You lose on that one, Matt.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
Blueberry pie. Blueberry pie is the best.
The top mask is not in.
Number 3 on my list.
Okay.
Wait, that was number 4, booger mask? Yeah. There's a title.
No, that's not a title.
Number 4 booger mask.
No. You come up with awful titles.
Well, what's number 3? I'm excited.
Number 3. Okay. What would Jesus do?
What's that have to do with masks?
I don't know.
You're saying Jesus was ugly?
We were talking about Jesus earlier, maybe.
I'm saying, Jesus couldn't put on the mask.
No, but he would probably wear a mask because he would want to protect
Can you free up my hand?
Jesus could heal himself. Why does he need a mask?
I can't put my mask on.
I got an itch.
I can't use my feet.
It's not while he's on the cross. It's when he's walking around.
Okay.
I'm just saying that
he could heal himself though.
Randy in the chat, yes, blueberry pie. That is definitely.
It doesn't matter. I'll be back in 40 days. All right, so fuck off.
All right, that was
that joke. You might die tomorrow, Jack. I don't know.
I realize that my list isn't. You guys didn't make this list while we were talking, so
obviously.
When you toast a Pop-Tart, if you toast it for too long and it burns, that fucking ruins the Pop-Tart.
It does.
It's the worst. Like burnt
But
crust Pop-Tarts.
But you know why you can't smell it burning? Because you have your mask on with the snot hanging down.
And exactly. If only you didn't have the mask on, you could have saved the Pop-Tart.
Is something burning? I don't know because I have my mask on.
I could not get it.
This is the Pop-Tart ratio again? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Burn. Yeah. See? Yeah.
We do have fun on this show, and I look forward to seeing you guys every week.
Oh my god!
Even though it's great to take a week off.
Burnt Pop-Tarts, man. The fucking worst, though. Are they like? There's nothing worse than that shit.
Because you can't go back.
No, you can't unburn a burnt Pop-Tart.
No.
But what you have to do is you then get a knife and you're cutting off all the shitty ends, and then you're left with like 34% of the original Pop-Tart.
You try to salvage it, and it's just there's nothing.
Yeah, it's like
you
just
look like
ruin
a criminal just trying to lick out the inside of
the funny part about this too is that this sounds like a fucking ridiculous conversation, but literally everyone who's ever cooked a Pop-Tart is shaking their head yes now.
Exactly.
Because we've all had the toaster where it doesn't pop up. Right? And you're like going, what the fuck's going on with my Pop-Tart?
So what's worse, like a Pop-Tart that's burnt or a Lego My Eggo that's like burnt on one side and still frozen wet on the other side?
That's the worst because what are you going to do?
Worst. Yeah.
Like, you're fucked. You're either forced to like if you try to heat that shit up, you're gonna burn one side and have the other side be fine. Or if you don't and you eat it, you get that one cold shot of waffle in your face.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's worse. I think that's worse. I'd rather eat the burnt Pop-Tart than
breakfast troubles. That's the episode title.
The cold waffle on one side and the. Go ahead, Matt. Finish your list.
I'm hanging on the edge of 2 and 1 here. Yeah.
I just want to clarify
I was just building some suspense.
And Jesse in the chat here. Are you comparing Matt's list to burnt Pop-Tarts? 100%. Yes, they are.
Well, my sister points out, Chris, the top 10 things are supposed to be about good stuff about the mask.
They're still shitting on me, Tamara. That is what they do. All right, so
no one calls her Tamara.
What do they call her?
Tammy.
See, I know that.
My dad used to call her. My dad used to call her baby, adorable baby Tamara, Tammy, whatever she called her.
Little T.
He just called me
Little
asshole.
T, I like it.
Hey, asshole, give me a beer.
Asshole, give me a beer.
All right, number 2 on.
Don't ever root for the Raiders.
Everybody knows that this is why you tuned in for. Warmth. Now that it's getting a little colder, I don't mind wearing the mask.
Where's it getting colder at? Still like in the 80s here.
Okay, we had a week of cold, and sometimes in the morning it's still been cold. We're a little bit norther from you. Norther?
I had hail last week. That sucked.
But hell can happen when it's warm, though.
Don't be putting down my list. That is a solid number 2 contender. Number 1. That's reason.
But then you're just breathing in moisture into your lungs, and it's just like, oh.
Why must you shit on my list? Why can't we just have lists?
Nobody wants the heat. And then the heat then fogs up your glasses even more.
True. That is true.
Then
your face
breaks out.
You're there for the warmth. Yeah.
Oh.
Number 1.
And all the Pop-Tart crumbs that were stuck in your beard.
because they're burnt.
I'm just.
You know what?
Take over.
You know what you can do. You know what you can do. Put the mask over the cold part of.
No, you're not talking right now. This is the number 1 reason on my list. Caring about other fucking people. That's what I wrote down.
Oh man, you did that. That's the number 1.
You knew how this was gonna go. You set us up.
Yeah.
You were gonna be dick bags when it came to your list, and you just throw this shit in there when we're muted.
Yeah. And that's what you want. And that's what Matt was hoping we'd pick the favorite podcaster. Remember when they were all? Remember when Jack, Nick, and Chris were all bashing the mask, and Matt said,
"I had this as a backup." This was a backup. The Pop-Tart thing was just bonus. I mean, seriously, if we were to do a versus, it'd be about Pop-Tarts or Van Halen songs. But
what are you going to argue in a Pop-Tart? Toast or not to toast? I mean, what would you do?
No, you would pick different pop
flavors.
Okay. Yeah, flavors. Like there's a s'more. I like the double chocolate. Like the bread's chocolate, the inside is chocolate, frosting is chocolate.
I'm just saying, as a parent, which I'm not, that's not a healthy choice for my child to leave.
You get the one without the frosting. You can.
I know the answer. I know the answer.
Yes, Jesse, you waited for that.
See, yeah, it's not only us that's shitting on Matt.
You know
we
what?
have other people shitting on Matt.
Yeah, Matt.
If you haven't heard any of my other top 10 lists, they're always bad. So
It's been a long time since you did a top 10.
it has been a long time, probably 100
enjoy it.
episodes.
I enjoy it.
I always have fun with them.
Well, trying to
Hey,
do
at least,
something.
at,
You know?
at least you're putting yourself out there. This is the 100th episode. I'm trying to say. It's the 100th episode.
I think what's weird about that is just the numerical randomness of it. But it is one of those things that, like, you know, last week we didn't meet, you know, and it was like, oh, it's nice having a little extra time off, you know. But then it's also like, oh, I'm gonna get to hang out with the guys, you know. And
I do enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie.
Chris is like, yeah, whatever, I'm out. Oh,
No, I just want to make sure I wasn't muted. I was like, yeah, this is actually for me, especially as anybody out there who's a parent, especially if you have two kids. It's like sometimes the length of your conversations are, you know, why is Uncle Joey all of a sudden flying a plane on Full House? I like to have some of these real conversations at least once, because it's a nice little break.
Well, my granddaughter, it was like saying dragon. That she saw a dragon. I'm like going, where do you see a dragon? She's dragon. And she was like looking at it, and she was in this one of my other daughter's old room going, dragon. I go, I don't see it. I mean, I was lucky to make out dragon, but I guess she saw, they had one of those little mechanical things at the store that was a dragon. So now she's all about dragons or something. And then she goes, arr! But anyway.
I feel you, Chris, in that we had my little team I have at work. We decided to meet last Friday for lunch, and my coworker Tim has a 9-year-old son, and he's like a lot of us has been working from home for 7 months, and the only company he has is his wife and his 9-year-old son. So even though he loves them both, it's like, I'm going to kill them, you know. And so after lunch, my boss leaves, my other coworker leaves. And he's just walking. We're walking to our cars, and he just stops and just keeps talking to me for 45 minutes straight, just staying there. And I'm like, "You don't want to go home, do you?" And he's like, "No, I don't." You know, I'm like, "I get it. I totally get it." He's like, "Don't send me home."
When you have young ones, it's cleaning their poopy diapers.
It's awesome, but it's
because like he has, you know, like a lot of parents right now, he has so many roles of like, I'm teacher, I'm also my child's best friend right now, as well as his dad. So like, it's like, where do you draw the line of like, oh, right now I'm being your friend, right now I'm being your dad, you know? And it's like, and you just get tired of being the only stimulant for your child and your wife and for yourself, you know, and like you just have no.
I feel that way, and I'm working. I'm going into work, and it's. Yeah, it's so true. Like I've been trying to figure out how to help my daughter with like math, but try to learn Common Core math all at the same time. Like I have no idea what that shit's about. So and here's the thing: if there's anything that should be said out there, is that teachers should get a fucking raise. Teachers need to be paid more for doing what they do every day, because, you know, being a remote part of it just kind of shows like. It's insane. It's insane to wrangle all these kids at once and to teach them all this shit. Like these guys, their teachers are not paid enough to do their job that they do.
I would agree.
Underappreciated.
I going back to having kids. My wife has started taking. Cindy started taking Fridays off so she could spend time with the grandkids, help me out, and stuff like that. Last Friday, she was like, kind of doing it. I went to McDonald's, get the kids McDonald's, and she goes, "I don't know how you do this every day."
Yeah.
I go, "It's not easy." But anyway, you do what you do.
Speaking of, it's not easy. Randy brings up a good point. So whatever happened to the email?
Matt
I have it pulled up right here. So
Matt made it into a top 10 list.
Oh, we're getting to it. So okay, so
top 10 emails.
It says happy 100. Hey guys, it is me again. Who's me? I guess we'll find out. Sorry, I'm trying to make it more dramatic.
Way to keep the listeners listening, Matt.
It is me again. I just wanted to wish you congratulations on your 100th show. Also to tell you that I think number 98 was one of the best you've had recently. It was very touching, funny, and as always, very entertaining. And my 2 cents on European museums, in my humble opinion, d'Orsay in Paris is the best if you want to see the Impressionists. If you are in Amsterdam, don't miss the is that the Rijksmuseum?
The Rijksmuseum, I thought was in Berlin. But
or is it I'm sorry.
I don't.
Okay. Yeah.
Ritz?
Rijksmuseum? I should have proofread this before reading. I'm sorry.
You were busy making it.
I couldn't read that either. Yeah, you're right.
In Belgium, there are some very cool ones like the Comics Art Museum. If you are into more modern art, the Comics Art Museum does sound really cool. So anyway, when flying abroad is again possible, if you ever come to Belgium, stop in Ghent. I would be happy to show you good places to sample local beers.
Fucking go!
Fancy chocolate beer. Yeah.
Cheers, Liliana. Thank you, Liliana, again for emailing in. Sorry if I butchered those names. I probably sound like a complete hilljack from Indiana.
It's like an American.
Well, I mean, if you're willing to host, I think we could do an episode from your place. What do you say?
I like Belgium and Holland. They're both.
I wanted to do that with the Married Man Show years ago. Take a tour. So we could. I'm all for it. Let's go.
Let's go to Bruges.
I've always wanted to go to Europe and an excuse to go to Europe without my family. Oh wait, we're taking our families.
I probably have to take my wife. She probably.
My wife. Yeah, I know.
I've always wanted to go and visit these places. I follow Nature is Fucking Lit on. It's a subreddit. It's one of the best ever, and all you see are pictures and videos from Belgium. You know, that entire section of the world, and it's just the most amazingly beautiful places. Mm-hmm. So I'm completely down to go on tour. Let's do a European tour.
I want to move to Switzerland myself.
Yeah,
go back to your roots, huh, Jack?
Yeah.
Because my mom always made a really good point about Europe, whereas we're Americans, because we have so much space, is that instead of like taking our old First Street or Main Street old buildings and making them current today, we just tear shit down or just move somewhere else and build again. And so we don't really have a soul or a history of our downtowns anymore. And whereas you go to Europe, you just have to deal with the shit you have, And so they take a lot of these old buildings and really make them beautiful or renovate them. And it's like, wow, this is really cool. And they clean them up. And that's why I love Belgium and Holland and a lot of places like that, because they do that.
The buildings over there are so old, but I said this before about Washington, D.C. It bugs me because you have all these, for America, they're old buildings. And then you have this new building. And you go,
look, you can just see deer like this, just out in the open.
I used to feed deer, so it's not really big deal.
You should play hide and seek with a buck. It's going to ram her at any second.
We've all been to Washington, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't it bother you when you see a brand new building next to an old building from the 1700s? I mean, it's like, okay, there should be a law saying, okay, if you're going to put a building there, it has to look.
I don't know. You're getting some weird aesthetic kind of Nazism over there, Jack.
No, I'm just it should be uniformed. It should be.
No, I agree.
I mean that's a new one. You just accused Jack of being a Nazi. Can we not just brush over the fact that?
Is that the title, Jack's a Nazi?
No, I was reading it aesthetic Nazi, but. Yes, I understand being respectful for the things that are there, but I mean, the whole idea of public art and architecture and how people interact with it is a very sensitive topic, because as buildings do come in or art is put in a place, people react to it, sometimes in good ways, sometimes in bad, but usually a little bit of both. So,
but I'm saying when you're going through a town like Washington or any old town on the East Coast, and you go
which
in California, huh? Washington D.C.
Okay, all right. I was just making sure we were all talking about.
I forget the name of it. Like shit, it's in Rome. It's the oldest still standing building in Rome, and it's nothing special. It's just like a dome looking shaped building. But you go look at that, and as soon as you turn 180 degrees, is a McDonald's right there, and you're like, what the fuck? You know, it's just it doesn't belong there. And it's the same thing as like in downtown LA. I lived in the historic core, so everything there is built from like 1900 to 1930, and that's the law in this little 2-3 block area is that nothing can be built there that's of a modern architecture. It has to be built to those specifications.
Fucking Nazis.
Yeah, fucking Nazis. Yeah, in LA. No, but it makes sense for in a lot of reasons because a lot of New York scenes for film is shot there because it's all one-way streets. It's all this old-looking architecture, so it makes sense for Hollywood too to you know. Because all of a sudden you're filming something, and all of a sudden, there's a modern building. It's like it doesn't make sense for it to be there.
I'm just.
I need to make it easier for
you
them.
Call me a Nazi, but I just don't. But that does bring me to something. My wife and I were talking about the other day. My oldest daughter, who's a teacher, when she was like 7 or 8, they were learning about Germany and stuff like that. And she's very sensitive, and she goes, she asked me, she goes, were we because we have German blood, she goes, were we the good Germans or the bad Germans? I go, well, just to let you know, your great grandfather was Hitler. She starts crying. Anyway, I said it with a straight face. I go, I'm kidding. Your uncle.
My daughter just recently read The Diary of Anne Frank, and
I was always disappointed in that because there's not a sequel.
She read the afterword, which gives a lot of descriptions of things that happened, and she was like just horrified. Like she's just like looking at me with these doe eyes that are just, you know, now like realizing like the horrors of man. Basically, like
if you go, I know I talked about this before, but if you go on the tour of the museum, the Holocaust Museum, it's one thing. It's like I just don't know how people did that, but that's just anyway.
There's the old Paul Revere house in Boston, surrounded by all the updated.
Oh
buildings.
right, yeah.
They didn't take that one.
And we know Paul Revere didn't really do anything.
No, nothing big.
What about the Raiders, man?
The British were already there. We already know that they were there. They were what? The British are coming. They're here.
Where's Sam Adams? Where does he live?
He lives on Budweiser Street.
Jamaica Plain. That's actually where the brewery is.
Now, see, the building next to it is probably a newer building, right?
Pantheon.
I mean that's got to be 1940s, right?
But it doesn't look like, you know, it fits. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, the Paul Revere house is built in 1680.
Really? Because when my dad grew up in East Berlin, Pennsylvania. Again, you can make your Nazi jokes, but there's a house there that was built in 1764, I think. But all the houses there are at least 100 and something years old.
Yeah.
I mean,
my old house was built in 1880.
I remember that. I remember, yeah.
Old ass.
For everybody in the chat, Nick is just confirming the Pantheon, which is different than the Parthenon.
Yeah, exactly. Because people are like, "That's in Greece." I'm like, no. The Pantheon, not the Parthenon. Yeah, sorry.
What kind of square footage does Paul Revere have there? Because it doesn't look very big.
Socket, not sprocket.
It is actually pretty big because it opens up in the back. Yeah.
So you can go on a tour there?
Anytime it opens up in the back, am I right? I did not say that.
Yes, you did.
The British are coming.
Whoa!
What if I lay it to investing?
I really don't understand the show.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But I feel like we have to at some point.
Oh, fuck.
You want some tea now?
We are fucking terrible humans. We are the worst people ever. Oh my god!
Back then it was only one shot, right? Then they had to reload.
We're all going to hell. Buy a beer when you get there.
All right. We
so Bill Burr, right? Am I
right?
Am I right?
I mean, I don't, you know.
Thank you. Was it Liliana? Is that who wrote the email?
Yes.
That inspired this beautiful conversation.
I know, and hopefully RCAD episode 200, we're going to be there.
We'll get our next one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be in like 2.5 years, right?
2 years.
Well, Matt takes a lot of breaks.
What?
He seems to have like 4 birthdays a year.
I don't want a podcast on my birthday, guys. Call.
Starting the show with no other host. And I was just like, Jack will show up at some point.
When?
I was
today?
No. It was when it was Jack, Jay, and I. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So that one, right?
Well, but I knew I didn't have to be on time because Jay was always late. If that makes sense, I go.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
know.
go. Then I'm gonna have to make small talk with Matt.
Jay always says a little housekeeping, guys. A little housekeeping for the show. If you guys could show up like just 5 minutes before we start, then we can talk about things before we start the show.
No, it's not good to show up 5 minutes early because everything that's just been percolating in your brain all gets spoken in that 5 minutes before we hit record. And
what do we say?
Yeah, and you don't want
for the show.
Save it for the show, and that's the thing is then you forget.
Yeah, then we usually forget. We forgot to talk about that.
That's fair. That's fair because you guys, did start. Okay, all right.
I'm not saying that, Randy, at all.
What I will say, Randy, though, is if you want to shoot
Randy could be a fucking host of the show.
If you join us live,
I think someone has to say it because the people listening at home.
It's gonna be Matt. This is his moment to shine.
To leave it unsaid. It's kind of like not seeing the Wampa's arm.
This is why you should join us live each week.
Exactly.
To listen. And here's the ironic thing. There hasn't been one fucking thing said in the private chat this week.
No.
Oh yeah.
It's the listeners doing the dirty work this week. Well done, Randy. Jesus.
We lost Jack.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm not going to end out this show. It's just too hard.
I do need to wrap it up, though.
I kind of figured as much. So here he is, back to join us.
Welcome back.
I just realized that I never log in. That's why I can't chat anything. Okay. Anyway.
Oh yeah, you should log in for sure.
I always forget to log in. I've never logged in.
I've never once logged in. I don't even think I have to log in.
That's where you show up 5 minutes early. Just log in and do
because I can never check. I can never put anything in the chat.
100 episodes. I can't give you guys any notes whatsoever. I mean, you guys like shit all over my beautiful 10 list of great things to wear.
I don't want any prep for this show. I think
number 2.
I just want to show up.
That's what I do.
Well, I think we did a lot tonight about Pop-Tarts.
I love the show.
It's so easy.
Go over to our Amazon affiliate link. Shop all of your Pop-Tart needs.
Yes.
janjack.com/Amazon. Become a patron.
Don't open them like an asshole. Keep them
So
intact.
I use it now. I use scissors because you pull it like this, they explode. It's just like
everybody's asking us about a post-election special.
Depends on the election.
I just want to get to the others.
Yeah,
I voted today.
Yeah, me too. My mail-in ballot came in. Yeah.
I voted last week, the day after my birthday, and then I got my flu shot on Monday. I am good.
I saw that you voted. I've liked it like 5,000. It's on like every social media thing. Luckily, you're not on Facebook.
I know. I posted it on Instagram. I thought about it a lot, and there were some things that I wanted to say. And
well, your top 10 list was pretty good. Top 10 reasons why
top 9.
Voted. Yeah.
Oh, my top 10 reasons for why I voted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
Because I was at number 8 because I could wear a mask. Number 7, so I could shoot before I see the whites of his eyes.
He said it.
He said the magic word. Like Pee-wee's Playhouse, which you can buy on DVD at janjack.com/Amazon. All your mask needs.
Those people are really old now. Those people on Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Yeah. And Randy, you're right. Jack doesn't know the password.
He doesn't.
To be fair, it's true.
I keep moving this paper around, so sorry for the shuffling noises.
It is irritating. I wish you had a mask on.
I'm sure it was. We talked a lot about music at the beginning of the show, and I just wanted to say that I just happened to design the RCAD as AC/DC.
It is nice. It is nice.
As this electric, like wow, wow, and who knew about the Van Halen, or else I would have maybe tried that.
Dive her down.
No, I'm not going to do it. But anyway,
I would rock that.
the patrons that I'd like to specially thank this week, they are AC/DC themed. You knew it. I mean, come on, like
Who's got the biggest balls of them all?
No, it's Tack in Black. Yes, it's Tack in Black. Yeah,
I'm Tack in Black.
I love it. As soon as I saw Tack in Black, I was like, I have to do.
Are you tricking us like you did last episode when you fucking went out of the gates like gangbusters and they really shit the
I hope not. I hope
because
I
you
don't
just set the bar.
Wait,
I'm
hold on a second.
warning.
I can't.
That's every episode.
Fair
true.
warning. The number one was solid.
Yeah.
That might not have been the one to lead with, but go ahead, keep going.
Okay. For those about to Richter, we salute you.
Okay,
Those about
2 for 2.
We
Dirty
salute you.
Dirty
I'm sorry.
Ed, done dirt cheap.
3 for 3.
Wow.
Roll.
Wow.
This is tough. Okay. This was actually one of my favorite songs by AC/DC when I was a kid. So I hope I don't like crap this up, but Who Maggie Who? Yeah?
I get it.
Yeah, Chris doesn't like it. It's Who Made Who? Who Maggie Who? I know.
Bum, bum, bum.
If you want the Rambo cast, you got
All right, look.
it.
I hope she appreciates this because it's You Joanned Me All Night Long.
Okay. Yeah.
You join me all night
4 out of
long.
5.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that. I like that.
And I could not end this list without We're on a highway to Greg.
Greg.
Yeah?
5 out of 6.
I don't know if I like that one.
Sorry. Okay. Well, the vote's not in, but that is the people that I thanked for this show, and thanks for everybody that joined us live.
Wait, I hate to bring this back. I hate to bring this back to the Padres, but Trevor Hoffman, the reliever for the Padres, when he would enter the game, they would blast Hell's Bells over the intercom.
Oh.
It was like
struck.
because we didn't have a lot. It would go. Doom.
I thought about Maggie Struck, but I
Yeah, that would have been 6 for 6 there. But anyway, doom, and so it's just like the whole crowd. It's pretty. If you haven't seen it, go on. I'll put it in the our message thing. It's just so you guys can watch.
AC/DC, another one of those bands that like changed front liners.
Yeah.
Well, they never have a choice in the matter, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. They never replaced Jimi Hendrix in the Jimi Hendrix Experience.
It's true, yeah.
So, all right.
Man.
Who replaced John Denver?
I know he's full of shit.
What? John Denver? You're gonna shit on John Denver?
From Dumb and Dumber.
Watch Dumb and Dumber.
I sing a
It's true,
song.
though. As soon as you drive like past the Kansas border into Colorado, you're just thinking like, "Fuck yes, I'm out of Kansas," and then you have another 100 miles before you even see a hint of the mountains, and you're just like,
Rocky Mountain.
Yeah.
John Denver's full of shit.
He's full of shit.
My plane has no gas in it. Anyway, too
Rocky
soon.
Maggie High. See? Good John Denver.
Yeah, yeah. You could do John Denver songs next.
We'll see. I think of these right before we record.
John Denver, a very underrated singer.
He's got a couple good tunes.
Great show, kids. That was 1 in a million. I'm
Taffy used to love John Denver, by the way.